Emma, the letters that were never written. It's raining outside. A close-up of a stack of envelopes. But something isn't right. The envelopes are dry, perfectly dry, even though it's pouring outside. And no one has been inside the house for 8 hours. A stack on the table. Emma is 30. She's a nurse at a New York City hospital. Her life consists of endless shifts, other people's pain, and the silence of her small suburban home. A silence she's grown accustomed to. A silence she chose for herself. That evening, it was pouring rain. Emma opens the door, unfastens her wet raincoat, and freezes. Envelopes lie in a neat stack on the wooden table. She looks at the lock. It hasn't been picked. She looks at the windows. They're locked from the inside. She lives alone. She's the only one with a key. Where are they from? She picks up the top envelope, and as her legs go weak. Not from fear, from the handwriting. She would recognize it anywhere. Rounded letters, slanting slightly to the left, with a small flourish on the capital EE. Her mother's handwriting, Sarah, the one she hasn't spoken to in 20 years. With trembling hands, Emma opens the last envelope, the one on top. There are only a few lines inside. Dear Emma, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone. I'm sorry I never found the courage to tell you everything while I was still alive. I loved you so much that it became my only mistake. Emma doesn't understand. What does I'm gone mean? Lisa called last week. Mom was alive. Alive and well. Or is she not? She looks at the envelopes. At the dates, the top one is from yesterday. The one below it is from 5 years ago. Further down, 10 years ago. 15 years ago. The very first letter is dated exactly 20 years ago. To the day. Mom wrote all this time. Every year, every few months, and she never sent a single one. But that's not the strangest part. The strangest thing is what Emma notices only when she picks up the letters. They smell like cinnamon. Just like Mom's house used to smell. As if they'd just been brought from there, 300 miles from here. Emma looks around the empty room. She asks quietly, Mon? Only the rain outside the window, and the scent of cinnamon which lingers in the air. Memories, Kite, Quarrel, and Secret. 1994. New York, a sunny park. Little Emma is 8 years old. Her mother, a young woman, with her hair down, is laughing and running across the grass. She's holding the string of a kite. Emmy, hold on tight. Look how high it's going. The girl squeals with delight. They fall into the grass and hug each other. And then Emma remembers something she had never thought about before. That day in the park, a stranger approached her mom. He whispered something quietly in her ear. Her mom nodded, and for a second, her face turned to stone. Just for a second. Then she smiled again. 8-year-old Emma didn't think much of it. Emma is 10 years old. Her parents are shouting. Her father slams the door and never comes back. Sarah sits on the floor, holding her daughter close to her chest and whispers, I love you more than my own life. Never forget me. Emma didn't know then that it sounded like a farewell. Emma is 15 years old. She is a prickly bundle of teenage anger. But this anger is not without cause. Emma senses that her mother is hiding something. Secret phone calls. Medication in the desk drawer. Once a phone conversation overheard by accident. No, she mustn't know. Never. You promised. Emma bursts into the kitchen. Who did you promise? What is it I'm not supposed to know? Sarah hangs up the phone. She looks at her daughter with calm, weary eyes. So you can live freely. You have to be happy, Emma. Happiness doesn't live next to a hospital bed. Emma turns and walks away. The door slams. She doesn't know that evening, her mother sits down at the table and writes her first letter. That very one, dated 20 years ago. The truth that can never be taken back. Emma dials Lisa's number. Lisa, hello. Tell me the truth. Was Mom sick? Yes, Mom was sick for a very long time. Emma, Mom wrote to you every Sunday. For 20 years. She would sit down at the table and write, but she never sent a single letter. She said Emma shouldn't feel sorry for me. Let her live her own life. Then why didn't you tell me? Because she asked me not to tell you until the very end. She had cancer, Emma. She had a very hard time for 3 years. She died yesterday morning. Lisa, who brought the letters to my house? What, Emma? What letters? I didn't send anything. Mom asked me to burn them after. Emma looks at the stack of envelopes, at the dry paper, at the scent of cinnamon that still lingers in the air. Lisa, did you do it? Did you burn them? I didn't have time. I got here this morning, opened the box, and it was empty. So they're here.
Rage.
It isn't pain that overwhelms Emma. It's rage. Why didn't you say anything? I would have come. I would have taken care of you. I would have had time to tell you. She tears open the envelopes. Paper flies to the floor. Tears choke her. Emma screams into the void. How could you decide for me? How could you steal 20 years from me? And suddenly, the scent of cinnamon intensifies. Abruptly. Unbelievably abruptly. She looks at the torn sheets on the floor and notices one of them is lying face up. A line she hadn't read. Don't stay angry for long, my dear. Your face gets so scary, just like when you were 15. Emma stares at that line for a long time. Then, for the first time all evening, she laughs. Through her tears, helplessly and bitterly. The treasure box. Emma is driving to her mother's house. 300 miles. At night, in the rain. She doesn't even know why. She just knows she has to. The house smells of cinnamon and old books. Everything is just as it used to be. She goes up to the bedroom. She opens the closet there on the top shelf, where her mom used to hide sweets into shoebox tied with twine. Inside the box, photographs, a worn diary, and a beaded bracelet. The very one little Emma made for her mom on March 8th, 25 years ago. The bracelet hasn't faded. Not a single bead is broken, as if her mom had cherished it every day. At the bottom lies the last envelope. It is pristine, without a single smudge. Emma unfolds it and reads it aloud, her voice breaking. My dearest girl, forgive me. I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. It was because I loved you too much. I didn't want you to watch me fade away. You are my pride and joy, my one and only miracle. I know you're angry. That's good. Anger means you have strength. If you ever have a daughter, show her the bracelets. Let her know. Grandma is always nearby. And also check the pocket of the coat, the blue one hanging in the entryway. I left something for you, not in a letter. With my own hands. A blue coat hangs on a hook. She slips her hand into her pocket. She pulls out a small photograph.
Mom, happy March
It's just
8th.
the two of them, a park, a kite string, the sky. On the back in her mother's handwriting. I remembered that day every night. You laughed so hard the birds flew away. I was the happiest person on earth. And the date. The photo was taken yesterday. Yesterday when Mom was already gone. Emma stands in the entryway for a long time. Then she says quietly, okay, I don't understand, but okay. The grave and forgiveness. The funeral took place without her. A month later, she and Lisa go to the cemetery. It's a cold but clear day. Emma kneels by the grave. She's wearing her mother's bracelet. She plants a bush of white roses, the same kind that grew by the porch of their old house. And she whispers, I've forgiven you, Mom. You meant well. I understand that. Even though you were wrong. You were very wrong. But I understand. And I don't understand anything about the photo either. But I think you did it on purpose. The sun breaks through the clouds. Emma smiles. For the first time, it feels easy. A year later, a sunny morning. The same little house in the suburbs. White curtains, geraniums on the windowsill. Emma, wearing a light-colored dress, is making tea. She's wearing a bracelet. On the table is a mug with a crack in it. Her mother's. A year has passed. I quit the night shifts. Now I work in the day oncology ward. Strange, isn't it? I sit with people who have the same illness my mom had. I hold their hands. I don't say everything will be okay if it's not true. I say I'm here. You're not alone. I think mom would have approved, or she would have cried, or both at once. She and Lisa talk on the phone every Sunday, right at noon. They talk about trivial things. Sometimes they're silent together. That's a conversation too. Recently, Emma sat down at that very table. She picked up a pen and some paper, and she wrote, "Mom, the roses have taken root. Every morning, I look at them and remember how you taught me to water them not at the base, but around the edges. I've forgiven you. A long time ago, even before I read your last letter. Thank you for the snake in the park, for the bracelet, for the photograph that I still don't understand and no longer want to understand, for 20 years of silence that taught me to listen with my heart. I love you more than life itself. Your Emmy." If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who could use some kind words right now, and in the comments. Let me know, has there been something you were only able to forgive years later? Subscribe so you don't miss any news stories. I believe that each of us has a letter of our own, waiting for the right moment. This has been Zhanna. Cherish those who write you letters even if they're sitting in a desk drawer.